Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you, and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. Listen, Andrew Tate's banning and all of this only means that the social media, once it becomes dominant and the platform becomes successful in comparison to its competitors, has to ban people like this to tell the truth. They would have done it to Kevin. Now the thing is, Andrew Tate's been talking about this a little longer than Kevin. Kevin would have been banned eventually. Would have taken time, but he would have been banned eventually. He passed away. No new content from Mr. Samuels. He's no longer banned. The other thing too was that Kevin preceded a wave of women admitting this. There were women that admitted to these things, but he bolstered their retention, and he precipitated a further wave of some more women coming out and admitting to these games. Additionally, Andrew Tate already had a certain level of fame, and it got more so after Mr. Samuels went famous, and then even more so when Mr. Samuels passed away, because now Austin Holloman and Andrew Tate are the ones out here saying, okay, you know what, let's forget even trying to save families anymore. F that. And Mahdi Tijani in the UK has even said he's trying to come up with a solution to a problem. He said that his solution is a bad solution, it's just that the problem is worse. No strings nikah. And I went ahead and got into the group. I want to see what they're offering. And there are times when he checks some of these ladies and says, hold up, you're this old and you got kids, you ain't trying to have no more, and you looking for a young unmarried man? Never been married before, man? Fit the guck out our face with that short bit. But that's what the lesson is. The lesson is that certain powers want to make sure that this information that we now know about the games that women will play if they can, and the games that Western women are definitely playing, and even punishing other women for not playing, is a type of knowledge that they want to make sure is never mainstream but rather fringe. Much like what they've done with Islam. You got Muslims who believe in self-defense, fighting back. These things are okay. But once they promote these things, we already know what happens. They become considered fringe and the T word. And then next thing you know, every federal and local law enforcement wants to put them in Guantanamo. Because what they want to do is they want to say that if you believe in not being oppressed by others, you also believe in that T word. Mass murder and things like that. They want to say that even if that's not true. That's how they get you. Well, similar here. But I also want to tell the Muslims something. Muslims, do not take Andrew Tate. If you want to take him as an ally in a particular cause, that's different. But don't take him as a role model or a hero. I don't even think he would want that per se. An advisor, someone that reports and makes astute observations, that's fine, but he's not a hero. I mean, well, he's not a role model for us to follow. He does tell men to commit fahisha. He's not promoting male chastity, and from his own standpoint, I know why he's not doing it. Women don't respect that. Nowadays, even Western Muslims don't respect that. They don't respect male chastity. They disrespect it. Hell, look where Mahdi Tijani lives in the UK. He's talked about it. The way these women describe the things that they do when they feel comfortable confessing shows they don't even respect chaste men. You all might have seen one of my subscribers make some comments, both La Dola. And I'm telling you all, he knows about that. He's seen that happen. He's seen these women try to, or actually ride the cock carousel. Western Muslimas ride it. And then turn around and try to use a chaste practicing Muslim guy for provision and protection by marrying him. But that's not the one they want to bang. He knows about that. He's talked about that before. But see, our rules don't necessarily change. So although Mr. Tate does not have a reason in his own spiritual belief system to go ahead and preach chastity or to tell men not to commit fahisha, the fact remains that we still have our rules, and he does not become a role model. So he does not give instructions and we carry them out. And I don't even think he's thinking about us if he gives advice like that. As a man that respects Islam, at least on the tongue, at least apparently, I don't think he is really thinking about practicing Muslim men when he says you're going to have to get out there and just nail them and smash as many as possible. I don't really even hear him saying that much, but he's not promoting male chastity. He may be thinking, well, for the Muslims, you already have those instructions. You don't need me to promote that. And now many of us are sit up and looking at him and taking him as a role model, and that's not even something he requested. So keep that in mind, gentlemen. Another thing, lastly, understand that when you see someone like him get banned, the reason for him being banned is exactly why it's so important for us that we reach out to these young men. They're still boys now, and without taking on the financial responsibility for caring for them, we tell these guys exactly what their mothers, married or single, don't want them to know about women and the games they will play. That is the most important. The reason why it's important that we do it that way is the same reason that someone like him gets banned. That's what it comes down to. Andrew Tate made his money gambling, casinos, pimping, things like that. He made his money in ways we Muslims are not allowed to make our money. We can't follow in his footsteps. It's sort of like the rappers. You had a lot of young Muslims that were impressed with rappers, especially when the rappers became Muslim. But understand, these rappers made their money rapping and promoting fahisha and foolishness. Then they became Muslim. You can't follow in those footsteps. It's much like the same way that even non-Muslim youth in our ethnic community were listening to guys like Terrence Gangsta Williams, as an example, tell them not to go down these gangster paths, but they were listening to people tell them this after they'd gone down these paths. They didn't have an alternative path put in front of them and shown to them. Nobody stood up, no non-former idness was allowed to stand up and say, that square path is the only one you need to take. And there's the reason why you were brainwashed to see it as square in the first place, because that's the right path. If I was your enemy, if I hated you, and I wanted you destroyed, and I wanted your people destroyed, I would give you the same ideas. That being said, I think this helps out. I hope it helps. I think I've explained it enough. And thank you for listening. And as always, black heart, black mind, black out, assalamu alaikum, and black heterosexual, non-select male power just because they don't like it, and black patriarchy until extinction of judgment day. And this message has been approved of by the one thing that matches the speed of light. Darkness. To drop some crypto change on a brother.